This is Midweek Politics with Dave Pakman.
Welcome back to the show. Well, there's a college football player, a Heisman Trophy winner, who it turns out is involved in the middle of an abortion-related controversy. And what's going on is that Tim Tebow you probably know more about this than I do, Lewis, because you're into football. You are involved in various fantasy leagues and embroiled in incredible controversy every season. Is he known as a religious guy?
Yes, extremely.
What team does he play on?
He played for Florida. I imagine he'll be drafted this year.
So he's still in school, but the college football season is over.
Yes. I think this was his senior year, I'm pretty sure.
And what I read is that the eye makeup that is worn, he had some kind of Bible verses. I don't even understand.
Yeah, like the numbers, like for a passage or something written under his eye.
That's commitment.
Mm-hmm. Like Tom Brady, except with numbers on it.
Right. Okay. So the long and short of it is that he is going to be at the center of a Super Bowl commercial that's funded by our friends over at Focus on the Family. And Focus on the Family is the creation of James Dobson, a well-known, in many cases, violently anti-gay and anti-abortion individual, conservative Christian individual. And the ad will be paid for by Focus on the Family. It will air, and it will include Tim Tebow, and this will be during the Super Bowl. There's a number of controversies going on here. Number one is that there's the criticism that ads that are going to divide rather than unite, according to Jamu Green, president of the Women's Media Center, should have no place in such a big sporting event. That's just not what the Super Bowl should be for. Number two is that there is a precedent for refusing abortion-related ads, except in the past, it was one that was pro-choice. And there is the component that how will this affect Tim Tebow's potential NFL career? Some are saying a lot of football teams are in conservative cities, that people will love it, that this will not hurt him in any way. What's your thought?
I don't imagine it will have any bearing on his NFL career. And, it just as an ad itself, played during the Super Bowl, I mean, it's just an ad. They can sell whatever advertising space they want, can't they?
They certainly can, but I don't agree that. I don't think that this has any place on the Super Bowl. I don't think that it has any place airing on the Super Bowl at all. Is CBS hurting that badly for ad revenue that they need to risk the type of blowback that's possible from airing a very strongly anti-abortion ad? There is going to be blowback for sure.
Yeah, I don't imagine they are strapped for cash. No.
Not to mention that isn't sports supposed to take us away from politics?
I guess.
Many would argue that it is. If watching the Super Bowl all of a sudden means being complicit with an attack on women's rights, I don't want to be involved in that. I certainly don't. And that's going to be a problem, I guarantee, for millions of people. Here's the real problem. CBS rejected an ad by the UCC Church in 2004 because they supported gay rights. CBS cited the policy that this is going to be a divisive ad. They said, we have this policy. It's just, we don't air this. It's not a big deal. We're not personally saying we're for or against gay rights. We're not going to air this because this is a political thing. We feel that it's too controversial. Yet here they are, saying that homosexuals should be treated as well as heterosexuals, to me, is not nearly as controversial as this incredibly anti-abortion ad. And CBS, to me, seems to be completely hypocritical here.
Well, we'll see what will happen.
Also, not to mention, Tim Tebow is at the center of all of this, and I'm sure he feels really good about being involved in this. But if he could step back, he is a complete pawn for James Dobson and Focus on the Family here, is he not? I mean, Focus on the Family doesn't care specifically. I mean, they care about Tim Tebow in that he is going to do this ad for them. They don't care about him. What they care about, the point is preventing abortion from being legal, even though we know that if you make abortions more difficult to get, you don't get less abortions, you get more women dying from choosing to pursue unsafe abortions to the tune of 70,000 a year, which is incredible. And for Tim Tebow and James Dobson and CBS and the Super Bowl to be complicit in supporting an ad that is going to lead to women dying. Women will die if the result of this ad goes the way Focus on the Family wants. To me, is incredible.
It's odd, but what better time to play such an ad with a guy like Tim Tebow than during the Super Bowl?
Well, from the point of view of James Dobson and Tim Tebow, sure.
Mm-hmm.
But from the point of view of logic, reason, fairness, and health, the health of 70,000 women a year, there's very little logic to seeing this. I'm going to be curious. I'll be watching the Super Bowl. I'll be curious whether this airs and how many times. I have the numbers here. Super Bowl ad prices are down a little bit from where they have been. I think they're at $2.5 million for a 30-second spot, and they had gone as high as 3 or even 3.8. I don't remember. Obviously, we know why they're down. The economy is such that you can't get 3.8 million. You can still get 2.5 though. We'll see.
For CBS.
We'll see what happens. Griff Jenkins, who is an incredibly annoying reporter on Fox News, ran what basically is a fawning biography of Scott Brown that really feels more like a campaign ad than anything else. I'll play it for you. And you can tell, hey, Griff Jenkins and Fox News, they really like Scott Brown. And that's made clear in this campaign ad. This biography of Scott Brown. Hard to tell the difference.
Hey, Greta, we know he's from Rentham, and we know he drives a truck. A regular guy, but with extraordinary accomplishments. He's a Tufts grad. He has a BC law degree. He's a lieutenant colonel in the National Guard. He's married to a local TV reporter, Gail Huff. And when we checked in on his high school, we looked in his yearbook, and we learned a few little things. Like his secret ambitions in life in 1977, the year he graduated, were to be outrageously happy and play for the Celtics. Well, we went out and talked to several people that know Scott Brown, and here's what we found.
Let's see.
Scott Brown grew up here in Wakefield, Massachusetts. He graduated this high school, Wakefield High Warriors, in 1977. It was on this court that he earned the infamous nickname, Downtown Scotty Brown.
I can't get past that. How far into that did we get, Lewis? How many seconds was I able to get through?
Less than a minute.
Okay. A minute is clearly the maximum of the... Where's the journalism? Is that even considered journalism? Or is that an advocacy piece?
Well, certainly not a campaign ad because he already won. I don't know, just insight into this,
There's
this new seat.
There's no critique. There's no analysis. It's let's talk about how good of a guy Scott Brown is, and let's talk about how cool he is. And
that's what it is. Let's talk about how cool he is.
That is essentially what it is.
And
not
there's
surprising.
no voting record yet. So.
We hear this type of thing all the time on Fox News. I know. I don't even want to bore our audience with stuff like this.
Obama's healthcare plan, scarier than cancer?
We're used to that, right? It's not a surprise at this point.
I don't know. I'm kind of curious. I kind of wanted to keep watching this piece.
You're curious what he says?
Yeah.
So would this make you curious too?
Barack Obama makes a little girl cry.
That would pique your interest as well?
That would. I'd watch that.
You'd stay tuned.
I would.
Well, it's clear that Fox News is catering to the lowest common denominator here.
Oh.
Not you. No, that's not. I mean, isn't it clear though with that type of tease?
Well, that's a little bit different than this.
Is Obama's healthcare plan? What does he say here? Is Obama's healthcare plan scarier than cancer?
Obama's healthcare plan, scarier than cancer?
It's not a real tease. It's not a reasonable way.
No, that's just sticking something in people's brains.
It makes no sense.
Right.
It's not journalism. It's propaganda.
But I don't think this is anything major.
You want to see fluff pieces about Scott Brown. That's clear.
I don't want to. I mean, it's not like I'm demanding it.
If somehow you saw the first 53 seconds that we saw, you'd want to see the last 3 minutes too.
Yeah, I'd watch the full 3 minutes just out of sheer curiosity.